gentlemen, to Brown Bag Bets, powered by BETSPERTS. We are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. Apologies for the late start. Apologies for, I believe we might have had multiple starts. To be honest, I'm not even really sure how much of this you've seen, as Andy and I are talking in the background. Had a guest who was going to join us today to talk Gold Cup. Wasn't feeling so good. So it's just you and me, Andy. We got to figure this out.
Yeah, the Gold Cup not only sucks because it's the third or fourth best international competition, but I've kind of not been following along as well. And not only that, I'm a little confused because I had somebody else who betting soccer, and he's like, I'm taking Mexico at 800. I'm like, yeah, buddy, you ain't getting that number. What are you talking about? He's like, no, it's for the Olympics. So I don't even I feel like I need to dive in on this and figure out how these teams are even putting out and I guess it's only a certain amount of teams that are playing in the Gold Cup and the Olympics. You'd have to be either in, the Americas or the Middle East for one of these teams, I suppose. But yeah, it's the fact that they're splitting up teams, and yeah, Mexico is alive in the Gold Cup and the Olympics, looking for the rare Gold Cup Olympics double. I don't think that's actually going to happen now that we looked at the brackets. But yeah, tonight, a couple of soccer matches over here in America, with Mexico taking on Canada and the U.S. taking on Qatar, as is the four major powers of North American soccer have made it this far. Our red, white, and blue boys, I don't know, does Mexico have a cool nickname for their soccer team? We learned all the cool nicknames during the Euros.
Probably do. I mean,
El Tri, thank you, Dan. It looks like El Tri. That's how we would say it in America. But El Tri, I don't know, 3 colors on the flag with the snake getting eaten by the eagle. Kind of a cool flag. And then Canada, everybody in the chat had it too. Thank you. I knew it had a nickname. I just couldn't get it together. And then Canada, I don't think they have a nickname. Just America's hat. Good job. They're probably not getting as much respect as they could, although Mexico is very good. Qatar, I know a lot of people who have backed Qatar to advance, or Qatar to at least on the handicap. They're kind of a good team. A lot of the people I talk to that are actually paying attention to this say it's not a shoe-in that America's in the finals here. So we might be staying away from that match altogether. Yeah, I don't have strong feelings on this.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I think Mexico was roughly evenish to lift the cup right now. So they're kind of a heavy favorite. I mean, you can see they're minus 175 on the three-way here. They're probably going to advance. It'll be, probably a minus 125 on the three-way, no matter who they get in the final, especially if it's Qatar. If it's Qatar, there might be some value there, taking them plus 1.5 again. But that is on tonight. But I will be watching golf. I'm straight up ready to do this again. I went to the county fair last night. Didn't ride on anything cool because I'm too old for that stuff. I feel like hot garbage because I ate cheese. When your supper
how many deep fried things did you eat?
Everything, all of it. I bought an $8 corn dog. So we got there was an $8 corn dog.
I love a corn dog.
It was okay. Cheese curds. Actually, nachos aren't deep fried, but I did have nachos with a shitload of jalapenos. So a little bit of heartburn, not feeling great this morning, but it was cool. We got home from the fair, and Dan and I were discussing this off the air. It's silly how low the bar has been set for golf coverage just in general. Because I was watching on the Golf Channel last night, the Olympic golf, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. And I realized, I'm thinking, what is making this good coverage? And essentially they were showing shots of golf. They were showing players do golf. That's how low the bar has been set for golf coverage. Essentially just putting golf on and not doing these 10-minute, filler stories constantly.
Yeah, people in chairs talking about golf.
Yeah, it's been great. So I'm going to enjoy that again tonight. And I do have a couple. This is the nice, we always complain about the timing for tennis. Because tennis is happening right now because it's in Europe and it's hard to get plays. Sometimes you've even gone as far as saying, I will make this play once the lines come out if it falls in this range. Because that's a big part of handicapping, knowing where you're, having your line set ahead of time. A couple of guys I am looking to back today lined up with some people I'm not afraid to fade, which worked out. So the time, and that's where I was going with that point. The timing is good because we're going to get to the point where the golf has been over for hours and it doesn't start for like another 7 hours. I'm right in the tweener stage during the show here. So Paul Casey, guy I'm going to be back in. He looked great yesterday. Matsuyama, his putting wasn't if he's going to do the thing where he's not putting well, like he's just not going to play well. This
That's
is
generally how
happening
he is, though. He either putts terribly or just has a hot weekend, right?
Yeah, and I think we're going to have putts terribly. And there's a few other parts of his game that weren't really up to snuff where he's played in the past, where he's played when he won a major championship. So getting minus 115 on Paul Casey. I know a ton of people that live overnight this morning took Casey to win the tournament at 10, 12, 15 to 1. So Paul Casey playing very well over there at the Olympics. And then Victor Hovland, this is a little more juice. Rory doesn't look right. I'm not looking for Rory to do much of anything. If you remember before the Olympics started, he was not excited to go. Like he gave the worst interview. You think the Aaron Rodgers interview from yesterday was him not just, not giving a bleep? Like Rory, they asked him, but he's like, yeah, I don't really want to go, but I'll go. And he's like, what else are you going to do? I'll play some golf that weekend. And yeah, I'm excited. No, he even said, I'm not even really a patriotic guy. He said those words out loud. So he's not excited about, doing this for Ireland or anything like that. So Hovland, I like him here. I've taken him in a couple other spots. Hovland over McIlroy minus 129 and Paul Casey over Matsuyama minus 115. All the worst part about hitting a 3-ball, and I did hit a 3-ball yesterday, is that you want to hit other 3-balls. So like I'm scouring the 3-balls. It's just like anything. You hit a long parlay or you place like 10 the next week. So I can't believe I didn't play a 3-ball today, but all of them were just tight. Like there was one. There's one with Casey and Matsuyama in it. I just didn't like the odds. The number wasn't quite there for me. So, if you really wanted to get degen on it, you could go with the Paul Casey. I think he's plus 165 with it was Neiman and Thomas. Thomas really, really struggled with the putter yesterday. I don't know if that'll continue. I think he actually gets that right. So, no play on that one for me. And just taking it easy. Taking it easy with these two.
Nice and smooth. There is something happening tonight, Andy. You know what's happening tonight?
The
We've been talking about it for about a week now. The women's final is tonight. Unfortunately, Atlanta Rybakina blew it pretty darn hard. I was not up watching this, but got a full report from my buddy Zane. He was telling me that like her live line was a very, very deep number. And let's move on. Let's move on to something that's a little more fun. We got the NBA draft tonight, Andy. And we bet a bunch of stuff. And I thought it would be good here to kind of go back through everything, kind of show everybody where we are, start to look at that. And we can start to get a feeling of hopefully how our night's going to go. And I did actually even find one more pick, as surprising as that might be. So what you got here up on the screen, I figured it would be good for everybody to look at. On the left is what we bet.
I felt we had like more than this. It feels like I have more than this.
There's a whole nother screen. Don't you worry. Okay. So these are just the over-unders. You've got some matchups and a few other things, but put all the over-unders here on one screen. And as you start to look down here, you can see the current price. And then over to the right, your average mock position, the min, the max. And for those of you that haven't done grade school math in a while, the mode is the most frequent number in the sample size. So if we're looking at Kai Jones here, unfortunately, not the best start. We took him under 14.5 at minus 150. You can get that as cheap as minus 120 right now. His average position in mocks at this point looks like it's about 15. He's as low as 11, as high as 21. And most people have him at 12. So I think we're actually in an okay spot there. Just don't like that the market hasn't followed us. As you start to look down, though, we've got some other favorable moves here. Kispert, we've got about a half a pick value on there. Unfortunately, Mobley, number 2, is no good, but then things start to get a little bit better. We went Garuba over 16.5. He's 17.5. Man over 23.5. He's 25. Franz Wagner, again, we're in good shape here. I think we have a real shot of him going 9th, so we can hit that middle there. Jared Butler, this is one where when I went back and looked, it's under 23. There have been some whispers about some medical issues, and I'm going to wait and go back and see. If you're kind of nervous about this or maybe you put a little too much on this prop, I wouldn't hesitate against telling you to maybe take it over 23 or over 24 if you have it out there. Again, just some whispers that a few teams have started to talk about some medical issues with him, but still feel good there. Murphy, one of our better ones here, under 20.5. It's down to 16.5. Cameron Thomas, 23.5 down to 21. Cooper, over 20.5 up to 23.5. Primo, 23.5 all the way up to 27.5. Jackson, we bet yesterday at over 18, all the way up to 20.5. And this last one is brand new, Andy. I even found a new one this morning. Jaden Springer over 22.5. As you start to go back and look through some mocks, somebody did share one with me that he was at 21, but everywhere else I look, he's 26, 27, kind of in that high range. So over 22.5 looks pretty good to me there. Again, if you don't have these, there's a few you can still get on. Again, try to look at the chart there and try to stick to the ones that are pretty close to our number. There are a few out there. Now I've got our matchups. These ones are a little bit different because most of them are off the board, as you can see. Got a better number on the couple that are around. As we start to compare the averages, we're in pretty good shape on just about all of them, except for Mr. Johnson here over Mr. Booknight. That one is almost certainly going to be
very. Well, we got a plus number. You're not going to lose any juice. And really, outside of like the two Trey Man fades plus the Trey Man prop, like those are good. I'm excited about the Trey Man fade.
We're pretty good. And then wanted to review again, we've got that top four, the superfecta that we put in at 8-1. And that one, again, is Cunningham, Green, Mobley. And really, it's a bet on Scotty Barnes to go fourth. Yep. He is popping in and out of fourth, sliding to fifth at some spots. It's hard to tell because we're at the day of. And the day of is when, yes, you have the most information, but this is when teams really start to get smoke screeny. This is when stuff starts to float out. We don't know if it's true. We don't know if it's not. So I'm hoping Barnes sliding to 5 is kind of a smoke screen for what Toronto might want to do at 4 or something like that. We'll see how it goes. As you can look at the little table below, 1, 2, 3 is locked up. If you're going to go in tonight, go ahead, find some 1, 2, 3s. I mean, if you get those 3 exact order, I'm pretty sure that's not minus 200 anywhere, but I would play that, honestly, even up to that juice. It just seems like that is the absolute cemented top 3. And then we just got to get lucky, Andy. If Barnes goes 4, we're having ourselves a good night. So that's everything we've bet. Again, go back through, take a look. If you missed on any of them, try not to stray too far. Luckily, we got ahead of some numbers here, but there's still a few you can go back and pick off. And, feel free to DM me or anything if you have any questions at _Noops on Twitter. I'll be happy to talk to you guys about that stuff. But again, I think we're in okay shape here.
Yeah, there is one question over there in the chat about, I'm trying to read it, Duarte.
Yeah, at what point do we take a Duarte over? Again, I think that all the stuff we're hearing on him sliding back, I don't know if it's smoke screen stuff. I don't really know what's going on there.
That's been a tough read.
I don't think that I'm going to take the over there. There's a few teams that seem really high on him that are kind of, in the lottery at this point. I think his number, again, going off the top of my head, is right around 15 and a half. So, I'd stay away from that over. If it does, for some reason, drop down to 13, 14, maybe. But I've heard a couple teams that kind of like him and fancy him there in the lottery position. So I'm staying away from that one, even though he is sliding.
Yeah, and really, like we said this in the chat, the specific draft chat got thrown together with some people, and somebody said, like, now that we're at this last 48 hours, like, and it's the same with the NFL draft. Once you get to like the 3 or 2 day mark where you're getting right down to it, like the only bets I'm placing anymore are, hey, this is a legitimate source who has legitimate inside information, and I'm making a bet completely based off that. Like at that point, stuff is solidified. The market, these are smaller limit markets, but even at that point, enough money has come into them, enough information's been fed into them, and they've moved kind of where a lot of them are unbettable at that point. So like these last 48 hours, there's not much. I'm not saying don't add at all, but there's not a ton to add. A lot of this work gets done in the 2 week lead up to it. So take it easy on stuff, these last couple days, unless you're just, goofing around with a couple superfectas or you really, really have a strong take that the market's wrong and something. Same with the NFL draft. So, I mean, we're kind of at the point, and the draft starts in like 8 hours. It'll be exciting to watch. Hopefully we can get some of these home. We'll do an update tomorrow. We're gonna have Frank on tomorrow talking some baseball, but we'll do a quick recap of how we did. And then did you have a quick, just before we talk tumblers? Are you gonna look at the Bencic Vonderosa final at all?
I looked at it. I thought about maybe an over. Bencic plus money was pretty appealing to me, but I've had a really bad read on her. If you followed my outright, she beat 3 of them. So I'm not sure that I'm going to flip totally backwards here and back her in the final. If I had to pick somebody, give me Bencic. Bencic 2-1 is probably a fun bet if you're up and that's on and you're looking for a little bit of action. I think that'll be a good bet. Should be an over. I like Bencic to win the match, but nothing for me betting wise.
Yeah, and the men's semis are tonight too, I believe. One of them's, like a -600 favorite. It's Joker versus Zverev. Although it is Zverev in best
Zverev
of
could beat him.
It's in best of 3. Best of 5 is kind of his kryptonite. I want no part of that one anyway, but
I think
probably
it's Zverev or pass. Zverev has beaten him, I think, twice before in best of 3.
Yeah, like you take a big number on that. That doesn't feel awful. I am gonna bet Hatchinoff though in the other semi, for no other reason than Kelly took him and the number moved against him already by a penny. Or maybe I just got a better line though. But yeah, Hatchinoff +118 for a little bit of overnight tennis. I won't be watching that one, but I'm gonna take that money line over Pablo Carrena Busta, and then the women's one. I'm not getting involved in that unless somebody really talks me into it. And like I said, it is Tumbler time. A few more days left on the Tumbler giveaway. You can watch, or you can sign up for WinBet account if you're in one of the states that lets you do that, and you can still get a Yeti tumbler. All you need to do is use that risk-free bet and send us a screenshot of your risk-free bet over to @BETSPERTS. All the details are over there. The links are in the pinned tweet @BrownBagBets. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And good luck on your draft bets tonight, everybody, especially you, Alex.
Let's do it. Come on.
Especially you, because I bet
Happy recap tomorrow.
Yeah.